Hi everyone, it is Atia here, Booking It with Atia. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we have a book review. I will be talking about Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis. Highly anticipated release for me. So yeah, let's just dive right in. Before we do, however, make sure you check out my Etsy shop and my bonfire where you can get yourself bookmarks or some nice merch, sweatshirts, t-shirts, not headbands, hats, totes, things like that. And yeah, let's talk about Blood Moon. I have my annotated copy because I was sent a art by the publisher, and then I bought myself a physical copy. And I will read you the synopsis just in case you're not certain or sure or remember what Blood Moon is about. And then we'll get into my thoughts. I have some notes here and we're going to jump. All right, let's start with the synopsis. Mirabelle Owens grew up with legends of wolves that traveled to her Midwestern town to protect humans from vampires, of a werewolf that fell in love with one of them, unraveling a blood-soaked history. But Mira stopped believing in those fairy tales years ago. She stopped believing in a lot of things after her mom left without a trace when she was only 13. As Mira begins her freshman year of college, she's ready to leave. Okay. She's ready to leave the past behind her. You gonna help me? Look that way. As Mira begins her freshman year of college, she's ready to leave the past behind her. Only the past isn't finished with her yet. Strange animal attacks are occurring around Lincoln University, reopening cold cases tied to her mother's disappearance. And the only person who seems to know anything is Julian Santos, the boy who is hell bent on getting Mira to leave campus for reasons she can't begin to understand. But Mira refuses to let him keep his secrets, not when the truth is the difference between life and death. Mira will have to accept that there is much more to the old town myths and her growing feelings for Julian than she could have ever anticipated. As the blood moon rises, she will come to know a world that will shatter her past and change her future. All right, so after Brittany S. Lewis's previous two works, I knew that Blood Moon was one of my most anticipated releases. I love her writing, her character work, and her light surrealism that happens, or at least happened in those previous two books. While there are definitely inspirational elements of the Twilight Saga and the Vampire Diaries threaded through this book, which Brittany S. Lewis has been very upfront about, like how this is, supposed to be a Bonnie redemption story. It's supposed to right a lot of wrongs and confront or make amends for the mistakes those two series made, especially when it came to their Black and Indigenous characters. Blood Moon stands firmly on its own with its own lore and world building, which I found super cool and super unique. It both infuses the best parts of Twilight and the Vampire Diaries and swiftly corrects those egregious racist decisions while also centering Black people in vampire and werewolf lore, which is always nice and awesome to see. The writing is atmospheric, which isn't surprising because the writing in her previous two works was also super atmospheric. It's one of the reasons that I love it so much. I love the college campus vibes and the small town vibes that are just soaked into the world. She was able to do that so effortlessly. It didn't feel forced. College campus and the small town vibes very much fit the story and the world of the story. The romance is engaging and is tantalizing, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is very much Mira's story. It's centered on Mira and it's centered on her figuring out what's going on in her town. What does she have to do with it? What does her mother possibly have to do with it? And at the center of this is truly, there's a paranormal mystery that's happening. And so you do have a romance element, but the paranormal mystery is truly at the center of it. The writing kept me engaged and I kept wanting to come back to this book, but then things kept getting in the way. But I kept wanting to come back to the story and know what was going to happen next and where we were going with it. There were a lot of reveals in the last 50 pages of this book that tie a lot of the plot lines together, but also opens up some new things. So I'm hoping we get a sequel. It seems like that's a possibility. She left the door open for a sequel. And so I'm hoping that we get more in this world and we'll get some answers that are in a sequel. And Mira's growth is also super reliable and it's not linear. And she had a lot of growing to do. She had a lot of trauma to get over and not get over, but get through. She really was dealing with the fact that her mom just up and left when she was 13, and how that, oh, hello, that influenced a lot of her decision making. And she had to learn how to undo that damage. And that was not at all a linear process, which I found very, very realistic. And Lewis did an excellent job portraying how unresolved trauma can show up in a person's interpersonal relationships, how they view themselves and their importance in the world, and how it can manifest into destructive behaviors and tendencies, which is definitely explored in the character of Mira, even explored it in the character of Julian as well, but more so in Mira. I love the bond between Mira and her father, what was his name, Bobby, and how they clung to one another. It was such a cute father-daughter relationship. And I loved how they just navigated being the only two left because, her mother just disappeared. And I really enjoyed this book. I really did. It cemented Lewis as an auto-buy author for me. The first two books probably should have done that, but this one just really cemented her as an auto-buy author. And I am very excited to see what she does next in the fantasy paranormal sphere. And I ended up giving Blood Moon 4.5 stars. Like, I truly did enjoy this. I enjoyed the vibes, I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the character work, I enjoyed the lore, and yeah, it was fun. It was a fun ride. It was an enjoyable ride. Thanks so much for watching. That is my review on Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis. Let me know, did you read this book? Have you heard of it? Is it already on your list? Have you not gotten to it yet? Did you read it and not enjoy it? That's okay too. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in another video. Bye.
Weakness showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me.